So in this lecture session, we are going to discuss Modify Toolbar. Already we have covered this Draw Toolbar during our previous lecture session. In that we have gone through line command, polyline command, circle, again arc, construction of rectangle, polygon, different types of elliptical curve and hatching section. So during this lecture, we are going to cover this Modify Toolbar. In this, we will cover the commands like move, copy, stretch, rotate, mirror, scale, again trim. And if you just click over the drop down menu, again we have the next command as a extend. Again in this, we will cover fillet option, chamfer, then blend curves, and at the end we will go through this array commands. Along with that, we have one erase option over there. It's nothing but the explode and offset command. So all these commands we are going to use to modify the constructions that we have built previously. So many times we need to modify the constructed view in such a way that we can delete the unwanted construction lines, or we can modify the existing feature in uh, some other way so that we can correlate with the requirements. Now before going to proceed for the actual construction, let me draw one rectangle once again so that we can complete all these constructions within this A3 sheet. Okay, so what the dimension for this? 420 by 297. So let me draw one rectangle by selecting this rectangle command, and you have to select one corner point. With respect to that, we can mention the extreme corner point dimensions. So here we can enter 420 by 297, and by means of that we can have one another rectangle over the screen. Okay, so this workspace we are going to utilize to construct all the features by means of this Modify toolbar. Now let me zoom this rectangle so that we can construct all these dimensions one by one. Now to understand this move command in a better way, so by name itself we can come to know that if we have some existing feature for the workspace, that we can move to the other place with respect to some reference point. So that we can do by means of this move command. Okay, now to understand this, let me draw one rectangle initially by any dimension over this workspace. Now let me click these 2 points so that one rectangle is get created over the screen. Now within that rectangle, let me draw one circle by selecting one center point anywhere. Okay, and just complete this rectangle and this circular region over there. Now I want to move this circle outside that rectangle, so that I can do by means of this move command. Okay, so once I click over this move command by clicking once over this icon, it will give us one instruction: select object that we want to move. Okay, so in this case I want to move this circle outside this rectangle, so I have to select this circle. Okay, again you have to press enter button over the keyboard. So once we done the selection, you have to press enter button. It will give us next instruction as specify base point. So with respect to which base point we want to move that circle outside that rectangle. Now suppose I am going to select the center point of that circle as a base point. You can select any point. Either you can select this corner point of that rectangle, this corner point, this corner point, or this corner point, or you can select any other point over this workspace as well. So this is your choice. You have to select any base reference point. With respect to that, we can move this selected circle. Okay. Now let me select this center point as a base reference point. Now if I just move my cursor, you can see I am able to move this circle with respect to that selected base point outside that rectangle. Okay. Otherwise, you can mention the distance over here as well. Now if we just look out the screen, okay, we have one rectangle highlighted by the blue color. In that the current dimensions are 73.1. So I can move that circle at a distance of 100 mm, okay, as per our requirement, and you can mention the inclinations as well. Okay, if I just press tab button, the second rectangle is get enabled. Over that you can mention the inclination. Now I can enter the inclination to which we want to move that previous circle. Now let me move this circle horizontally so that I can enter 0° value over there and press enter button. Now you can see the previously we have that circle into that rectangle that I have moved to this outside that rectangle. If I just undo this construction by pressing Ctrl plus Z button over the keyboard, again we will jump to the previous construction. Okay, so many times we will go with this move command, or directly you can just click over here and just drag it. So by this also we can move this construction. Okay, so we have two options. Either we can go with the move command that we have in a modify toolbar, or directly just select that feature that we want to move anywhere and just drag it. It will hold that position. Okay, now let me undo this by pressing this Ctrl Z button. Okay, now hope you have understood this move command. Now let me describe this copy command. If I just hold my cursor over the screen, you can see that previously we have construction highlighted in a red color, to which they have shown point number 1 2 3 4. The same construction we can copy multiple times, okay, by means of this copy command. So if I just select this by clicking once over that icon, it will give us one instruction: select object. Okay, now let me select this rectangle as an object. So once we select that rectangle, it will get turned into dash line. Okay, so previously we have one continuous line over there. So once we select that object, it will get converted into dash line, and just press enter button. So you have to remember that each and every time you have to press enter button, unless until it will not show us the next instruction that we have to follow. Okay, so just press enter button. It will give us another instruction: specify the base point. Okay, now in this case we are going to make multiple copies, isn't it? In previous command we have move command, so that we can move the drawn object to the required position. But in this case we are going to copy that drawn object multiple times. So again, to create multiple copies, we have to select one base reference point. So again, you can select anywhere over this workspace, or you can just refer the same corner point as a base reference point for that rectangle, and with respect to that we can copy this rectangle. Okay, now if I just move this rectangle in this forward direction and just click it over here, you can see I am able to create the multiple copies of that rectangle like this. You can create the same at inclined lines as well. Okay, you can mention the inclinations over here, or you can mention the length with respect to that selected base point. To that particular length it will get created. Okay, now to come out of this, either you have to press escape button or you have to press enter button. Okay, now to activate the previous command that we have used, again you can enter button. Okay, now you can see again we are in copy command. You can see the selected icon over here. Again, to come out of that, again you have to press enter button. Again, to jump to the previous command that we have selected, you have to press enter button. Means to escape from the selected command and to select the previous command that we have selected, you have to press escape button over the key. Hope it is clear to you. Okay, now let me explain the next option, rotate. If I just hold my cursor over this rotate option, you can see in a first diagram they have shown the geometry naming point 1 2 3 over there, and if you just see the orientation, we have horizontal pattern for this. Now once we select this rotate option, we can move that pattern vertical. So previously we have one horizontal orientation, and after selecting that rotate command, we can rotate that feature as per our requirement or the inclinations. Hope it is clear to you. Now let me select this by clicking once over there. Now let me select this rectangle, okay, as an object. Now once I select this, it will get turned into dotted line. Again you have to press enter button. It will again ask us what is the base reference point to which we want to rotate this. Okay, now again let me select this center point as a base reference point. Okay, now you can see I am able to rotate that rectangle with respect to that selected base. Hope it is clear to you. Okay, now if I just mention angle over there as a 90-degree, you can see that rectangle is get turned into 90 degree. Okay, again to jump to the previous construction, let me undo this by pressing Ctrl plus J. So by this way also we can rotate the drawn constructions as per our requirement. Hope it is clear to you. Okay, now if we just focus over this trim command, in that we have two options. Either we can go with the regular trim option or the extend option. So this is very important command. So most of the time while constructing the features, you have to go through this trim command or extend command. Okay, now to explain this in a very detailed manner, let me draw some rectangles. in a cascade manner. Now let me construct these rectangles like this. Okay, so these are the rectangles I am going to use to explain you the trim command. Okay, so once you select this trim command, this command will get activated and it will give us one message: select object that we want to trim. Okay, so in this case either you have to select the object that we want to trim out, or just press enter button so that we can select the particular line that we want to trim. Okay, now let me enter. Okay, let me press this enter button. Now it will give us the next message: select object to trim. Okay, now suppose I want to trim this line enclosed by this second rectangle. Okay, now if I just click over here, you can see that particular line is get trimmed out. Okay, now suppose I want to trim this region, so again I have to select this line, just click over there, that particular line is get trimmed. Okay, again to trim this region, let me select this, that particular region is get trimmed. Hope it is clear to you. Okay, now let me explain this once again, because this is very important command that we are going to use multiple times. So what is the first action we have to do? You have to select this trim command. Okay, press enter button over the keyboard, and you have to just go on selecting the region that we want to trim out from this region. Okay, so if we just go on selecting these regions, you can see that particular region is get deleted. Hope it is clear to you. Okay, now again to explain this trim command in another way, let me draw one vertical line and horizontal line. Okay, so that we can create one array like structure. Okay, now let me on this ortho mode command so that I can have exactly vertical lines. Okay, and one horizontal line. Now let me draw one horizontal line over here. Now let me zoom this region by scrolling the cursor towards the screen. Now I want to create the arrays over here by means of this drawn horizontal and vertical line. So to have that array, I can use copy command. Okay, so just select this copy command, select this object, again press enter button. You can specify this as a base reference point. With respect to that, we can create multiple vertical lines. So just click over there and go on selecting this vertical lines anywhere. Okay, like this, and you can see we are going to create vertical lines from the first line. Okay, again to come out of that line command, just press enter button. Again to select this previous command, press enter button. Now instead of selecting this vertical line, now let me select this horizontal line. Again once I select that, it will get turned into dotted line. Again press enter button. It will ask us specify the base reference point. So just select this base reference point and go on creating this multiple copies like this. Again press enter button to come out of this command. Now hereafter, whatever the commands we are going to use in case of the trim, that are very much important. Okay, so you have to understand these options we have in a trim command very carefully. Now let me go with this trim option. Okay, so just select this trim command. Okay, press enter button. You can see the different options we have over here in a command prompt. The same options we will get once we click right click, okay, over this workspace. So the same options we will have over this screen. So we have the first option fence, second option crossing, project, edge, erase, like this. So the same options we will get over here. Okay, now let me go with the first option, fence option. So just select it. Okay, now it will ask specify the first fence point. Now what is by fence? So once we draw one line passing through all the corner points of the previously drawn object, so wherever that line will get intersect, those lines are going to be trimmed out. Now to understand this in a better way, let me select one reference point over here at this corner, and I want to trim out these extensions. Okay, now to trim out this extension by single pass, let me click once over here and just draw one line like this. Now you can see over the screen we have one dotted lines. Okay, so this is nothing but the fence line. So whenever that fence line will get intersect to the previously drawn construction lines, that particular line is going to be trimmed out. Just press enter button. Now you can see the change. So wherever we have that intersection with respect to fence line, that region is going to be trimmed out. Again, let me explain this once again. Select this fence option. Again, just draw this fence line around this construction and press enter button. Now you can see all the extensions are gone now. So this is nothing but the fence option. Okay. Now let me undo this so that we can understand the other options we have over there. Now let me copy this line once again, and I will create this line at a distance from these intersections. So in between we have some gap over here. Now suppose many times we need to close that counter or the construction. Okay. So instead of selecting these lines individually, okay, we can join these lines by selecting this trim option and press enter button. In that case you can just go with the projections. Okay. Sorry. So instead of going for the trim command, you have to go with the extend option. Just select the object with respect to we want to extend all these previous construction lines. Just select it, press enter button, and go on selecting these lines. It will extend to that particular selected geometry like this. Okay. Again, just press escape button. Now you can see we have completed the gap between this horizontal line and this vertical. This is nothing but the extend command. Okay, so these are the two main options we have in this modify toolbar, trim command as well as this extend command. Okay, now let me go with the trim command once again and just press enter button and go with this project option. Okay, so just select it. What is the message we have? Project with respect to user coordinate system. Okay, so already we are working in user coordinate system. So just select that. It will give us one message, select object to trim. Now suppose I am going to select this object, so that particular object is going to be trimmed. Okay, so it will trim only the projections that we have beyond this construction line. Hope it is clear to you. Okay, now let me escape this. Now I will explain this extend command once again. So to understand this, let me draw one line over here at this corner. Now I want to extend these lines, okay, with respect to this vertical line. Now in this case I will just go with the extend option. Okay, now we have to select a object with respect to we can extend all these incomplete lines. Now let me select this object, it will get turned into dotted line. Again press enter button and you have to just go and select the lines that we want to extend. Now suppose I want to extend alternate lines like this, so that particular lines you can select. So those lines are going to be extended with respect to that selected vertical line. Okay. Now we will discuss this mirror object. Okay. Now to understand this in a better way, let me draw one reference vertical line over here like this and just go with this mirror option. Okay. So just click once on this mirror option. Now we have to select object. Now we can select all those objects simultaneously by creating one left selection window like this. Okay, it will enclose all that rectangles at a time and just click over there. You can see all those rectangles are get turned into dotted line, which means that we have selected all those objects. Now just press enter button. Now it will ask us specify first point of mirror line. With respect to we can create the mirror image over there. Okay, on the right hand side. Now let me select this as a first reference point of mirror, and this will be the second reference point of that mirror image, and it will ask us whether we want to erase the source object or not. So by default it is no. Okay, so you have to keep this option as it is, or you can delete the source object as per our requirement. So in that case you have to just type y over there if you want to erase it. Okay, and in this case I am going to keep the previous construction as it is. So just type n over there and press enter button. Now you can see the whole construction is going to be replicated on right hand side by means of mirror command. Hope it is clear to you. Okay. Now let me undo this because I want to utilize the whole space of that rectangle to explain all these remaining commands. So let me undo this. Okay. Now I will focus over this region. Now the next option we are going to discuss are nothing but the fillet, chamfer and blend curve. Okay, now let me explain this one by one. So if I just go with the fillet option, so many times we need to remove this sharp corner, okay, by means of a round surface. So this is nothing but the fillet option. Okay, so just select this fillet option. Now again you can see these are the options we have for the fillet. Okay, again those same options we will get by right clicking over this workspace. Okay, you will see the same options over there: polyline, radius, trim and multiple. Now let me explain this radius option first. So in that case, as per the name, we come to know that whatever the radius value we are going to enter over here, to that particular radius value it will create that fillet. Okay, now let me select this. Now I am going to create one fillet surface for a radius of 10 mm. So just enter that value and press enter button. Again it will ask us select the first object. Now I want to create a fillet with respect to this horizontal line and vertical line. Okay, now this will be my first line. Okay, and this will be my second line. Now you can see this corner is get turned into fillet. Hope it is clear to you. Okay, now let me activate this command once again by pressing enter for this keyboard. Again if I just right click, we can have the next option polyline. So just go with the polyline, and suppose I want to convert all those corner points into the fillet at a time. So just select this line. You can see whole corners are get turned into fillet. Okay, now let me activate this once again by pressing enter button. Okay, again just right click over there and you can select the trim option as well, or you can go with the multiple means just go on selecting this horizontal and vertical line. To that selected line it will get created. Okay, now let me select this will the first line, second line. You can select this line like this. Okay, let me undo this, and by this way we can convert all these sharp corner edges into fillet. Now to explain the next option, which is nothing but the chamfer. So by name itself or the construction, we can identify that in previous construction we are going to provide a radial geometry at the sharp edges. But in this case, we are going to pick 2 points over this horizontal line and vertical line, and those points are going to be connected by a straight line. So instead of having a smooth surface over there, we can have just slot over there. Okay, so we are going to remove the sharp edges by removing that particular region. Okay, now let me explain this. So just go with this chamfer option. Now suppose I want to create chamfer over here. So this will be my first line and this will be my second line. So before that we have to select by which method we are going to create this chamfer. Now let me go with this distance option first. So just select this distance option. It will ask us specify the first chamfer distance, which means that suppose we want to create chamfer at this corner, and I am going to select this as a first line. So from this corner point, at what particular distance we are going to select our first point to create that chamfer. Okay, now let me enter that value 10 over here, press enter button. Now again it will ask us specify second chamfer distance, which is nothing but the vertical distance with respect to this corner point. So at what distance we want to select another point, so that it will create this chamfer with respect to first and second point over there. Now let me enter this distance equals to 20, so that we can easily recognize where we have 10 mm distance and where we have 20 mm distance. Okay, so let me enter 20 over there and press enter button. Now it will ask select first object. So this first line it will measure 10 mm distance with respect to this corner point. Okay, now let me select this. Again it will give us one message select second line. So if I just move my cursor over this second line, you can see that chamfer line is going to be created over there. So with respect to horizontal line, it has to measure 10 mm distance with respect to corner point, and with respect to vertical line it has to measure 20 mm distance, and at that particular distance that chamfer line is going to be created over there. Okay, now let me repeat this command and I will go with this multiple option. Now again if I just go on selecting this, you can see we have the same chamfer line to the all corner points. Now in this case we are not going to mention the dimensions. It will pick the previous dimensions that we have selected. Hope it is clear to you. Okay. Now the most important thing in case of modify toolbar is nothing but the arrays. Okay, If I just click over this drop down menu, you can see these are the options we have over there. The first option we have rectangle array, again the path array and polar array. Now to understand this in a better way, let me draw one circle over here for our understanding. Now suppose we have this circle over there. Okay. Now let me go with this first option, rectangle array. So by name itself, we can come to know that we have to create a array in a rectangular manner. Okay. So just select this option. Okay. It will give us one instruction, select object that we want to create as an array. Okay. So just select it, press enter button. Now you can see over the screen that particular array is going to be created over that workspace. Okay. You can change the number of columns and rows over here. So at the topmost window, you can see these options. We can enter the number of columns is equals to 2, number of rows equals to 2. Again, we can specify the distance in between these circles like this. Okay, and the total number of entities that we want to replicate as an array, that we have to enter over here. Okay, now let me go with this 6. Okay, and this total is 20. Again, press enter button. Now you can see the total 6 circles we have over the screen. Okay, to which we have 2 columns and 2 rows. We can increase the distance in between as well. Suppose in between distance we can increase up to 20. Press enter button. You can see the change over the screen. So likewise we can go on changing the in between distance like this. Again we can change this vertical distance as well. Suppose I am going to enter 35. Now you can see initially we have started with one circle, and these 3 circles are going to be created by means of a rectangle array. And in between distances as well as the angle we can change as per our requirement. Hope it is clear to you. Okay. Now let me explain this polar array. Again I will just go with the circle. One small circle I will construct over here. Just select this polar array and select this object, press enter button. Now let me select one reference point over here. So with respect to that, it will go on creating in a circular manner, so that you can easily identify what we are going to do over here. Sorry. Now this in between distance we can change to the 10. Again this distance we can change to the 10. Again we can fill this, or we can increase the number of entities that we can want to show over the screen like this. Again we can enter the number of rows here. We can fill these distances as well like this. Now let me select this as a 1, so that you can easily recognize what we have drawn over here. Now you can see that particular array is going to be created in a polar fashion. Now let me increase these distances. So instead of 2, I will enter 10 over there. Now you can see the change. Again if I just go on increase this distance and include angle equals to 360, you can see we have this circular geometry over there by a single circle. So it's nothing but the polar array. Okay, so in previous construction we have gone through this rectangle array. In second case we have gone through this polar array construction. Okay, now many times we need to follow some path. With respect to that, it will go on creating that particular geometry, isn't it? Now let me draw one line over here. Let me draw one polyline with respect to this geometry. Suppose I am going to select this. Let me turn off this ortho mode command. Now you can see I am able to draw a polyline like this. Just press enter button. Now go with this path array. What is the message we have over the screen? Select object that we want to array. Suppose this will be the object line like this. Again press enter button. Select the path. Now we are going to select this path like this. Now you can see the whole geometry is going to be created along this path line. Again you can increase the number of entities over there. Right now by default we have 3 entities. You can increase the entities as well. Okay. So just go on selecting the distances like this. Suppose we are going to create it for the 10 mm. Now you can see that particular path is going to be followed by this selected geometry, and we have this array over there. Hope it is clear to you. Okay. So like this we can construct all the features, okay, by means of this modify toolbar. Now let me explain this scale option. Now what is by scale? So generally we are using 1:1 scale. which means that if we take 10 mm distance over the x-axis, the same distance we are going to replicate with respect to y-axis, isn't it? 1:1. In case of half scale, we are going to reduce it to the half value. In case of double scale, we are going to increase it to the double value. Okay, now let me select this scale option. It will ask us select the object line. Now let me select this ring and press enter button, and this as a base reference point. So with respect to that base reference point, we can replicate those entities. Okay. Now the scale factor we have over the screen as a 6.0. So 6 times it will get created. Now let me reduce to the 0.5 so that we can have half scale diagram over there. And we can shift to this original position like this. Okay. So likewise we can enter the scaling factor over there, and accordingly we will get that geometry over there. Hope it is clear to you. Now the remaining commands in a modify toolbar are this erase option, which is nothing but the delete option. Just select it and you can select any object that we want to erase out. Just select it, press enter button. That entity will get deleted. Okay. Now let me undo this. Again, the next option is very much important. Okay. Now before going to explain this exploit option, now let me select any one of this rectangle. Let me zoom this. Now if I just select this rectangle, the whole edges are going to be selected, isn't it? But this is not a case in case of line command. If I just construct a same rectangle by means of a line command, suppose we have a rectangle over here by approximate dimensions like this. Okay, if I just click over here, that particular segment is get selected. But this is not a scenario in case of polyline command. The whole rectangle is get selected, and that we want to convert into a single segment. So to convert this polyline command into single entity, we have one option exploit. So by icon itself, we can come to know that we are going to exploit all the region. Okay. So if I just select this and select this object and press enter button, again if I just go on selecting this line, that particular line is get selected. Not whole object is going to be selected over there. Means we have exploited all that multi-region or the polyline command into a single line. Hope it is clear to you. Okay. The same we can do by means of offset command. In this case, we are going to create the replicas of the previously constructed geometries. So either we can have the offset inside that geometry or outside of that geometry. Okay. Now let me select the offset distance. Now let me enter 5 value over there, and this will be the object that I want to offset it out. Okay. So instead of this, let me select this object because we have exploited this. It will not get selected in a single glance. Again, I will just go with this offset command, enter 5 value over there. Let me select this object. Now you can see that rectangle is get shrink at a distance of 5 mm. Okay. The same we can do with outer region as well. This dotted line is nothing but our original object. Okay. If I move my cursor outside that rectangle to that particular side, it will get offsetted by a distance of 5 mm. If I move my cursor inside that rectangle, again the same rectangle we will have at a offset of 5 mm. Okay. So we can repeat this command as well. Just enter the same distance, select this object, and you can go on repeating this rectangle. Just select it. Now you can see we will have cascade of all those rectangles over. So by means of that we can create one offset feature by means of this offset toolbar. Okay, so this is all about the modify toolbar. Okay, so once you go through all these commands that we have in a modify toolbar along with this draw toolbar, we are able to draw all the features that we want to draw, and accordingly we will just go on constructing all the features required for the orthographic projection, isometric projection, or the regular two-dimensional features. Okay, so this is all about the modify toolbar. Thank you.